And then Vidarius comes out versus Vishen. So already I can see two favorable lane matchups for Believix. Mid lane is definitely an area where Akshan can lay down a lot of hurt on the Kog'Maw in the early stages, and then Darius should be able to push Shen around a little bit. But where Veni, Vidi, Vici have the advantage is gank setup, especially in that bot lane. Regirox and Techno Gremlin will have to be very careful when it comes to their positioning in lane and how they manage their waves, because Ashe and Nautilus, that's just a very easy lane for Hecarim to gank. Then there's also the Shen taunt in the top lane, so they can do some stuff there, I suppose. Alright, into the game we go. It looks like Believix just want to make sure that they don't get caught unawares when it comes to any invade attempt by BBV.
30 seconds until minions
BBV are still going for it, but they're going to enter from a different position. So it could still become a situation where both teams meet each other. Some members of Believix actually just retreating, but now it could be a 3v5 situation, which means Believix are just running away. But here comes the CC train, and the Diana is the unfortunate victim of that one. Shen takes first blood. Perhaps not the best member that could get first blood in this situation, but it could still help top lane a little bit when it comes to that Darius matchup. It's a bit problematic, but oh no! Jaina Proudmoore almost caught Valstorm on a greedy recall, and now he's going to have to go back to base. Ashe is going to lane without a support. So this will give Kai'Sa and Yuumi that extra time to set up in the lane and not get pressured. So, as expected, Kog'Maw starting Doran's Blade, but maybe I shouldn't speak that soon about the items that Vince chooses to go for. Time gear. Sorry. Yep, Jaina Proudmoore already with that level 2 advantage. He was looking for something. But I guess the lane positioning was not quite what he was hoping for, so backs off of that one. The level 2 power spike is where Akshan really packs a punch. So if Time Gear can get through that relatively unscathed, then he is already in a good spot. But oh no. Ares not a lot of mana there. Yuna going for the invade, but Jaina Proudmoore is not really backing him up. He's just going for that full clear, so we're not going to see any early skirmishes here. I guess it was just a quick detour into the jungle to try and disrupt Ares' clear a little bit here. But now that he has blue buff, he's going to be just fine. The top lane could be the next target. Darius's wave is still in a pretty awkward position. He's trying to push this in. I wonder if he's going to get it in time. Ares actually changing his mind. He's going towards mid. He's going to get spotted. Or perhaps Jaina Proudmoore just knows relatively... Sorry. Yes, Jaina Proudmoore. He knows where junglers should be at this time. Ares popping goes early to try and get away. There will be no kills here. There was a smell of a 2v2 in the air, but BVV back off of that one. Yuna with a big trade onto Chasm. He's definitely feeling the hurt here. That Doran's Shield does help a little bit, but... yeah, the CS lead is already quite big in the top lane. And this will most likely become a cause for concern for Veni, Vidi, Vici later into this game. Just taunting away from danger constantly. Oh, Jaina Proudmoore. Now he's going to trade with his minions, but the thing is, the minions are not really attacking Time Gear, so he actually gets a good trade here versus the Yakshan. I was sort of expecting a little bit more explosiveness in the mid lane specifically. But also, it feels like actually the bot lane is not doing that badly for Believix, which is another positive for them. Not gonna lie, when I see Kaisa Yumi as a bot lane duo, I don't really, yeah. The laning phase is not their strongest suit in my opinion. Kaisa really prefers to be paired with the support that has CC, so they can make better use of the plasma passive and just the burst in general that Kaisa has. Obviously later on, the Yumi will become a great enchanter, has good scaling, so she will be useful regardless, but right now it is a bit awkward for Believix to do anything. But as it stands, things are fine.
Too slow.
And I definitely expected VVV to be a bit more proactive in this early game. And a part of me wonders why the pathing from Ares ended up the way that it was. Oh, this is a very bad spot for Kezim to be in. His wave's pushing in, the jungler's here, trying to get CS, but obviously he's in big trouble. Actually staves off some of that pressure. He's not going to get ganked by the Yakshan, but he's still gonna get zoned out of his CS. I'm gonna actually finning the wave to make sure that it stays on his side for an extended period of time. Somehow this Kog'Maw pick in the bot lane is only down 5 CS. But here we go, Ares going straight onto Akshan, who's without his slingshot. And this is kill number 1 for Time Gear, but here comes Duke of Jamming with a response of his own. Shenhold comes in to protect Time Gear, and the top and jungle buddy system works very well for VVV. It's 2 kills for 1 in the mid lane, which could be followed up by this dragon next, but it looks like Valstorm and Killer Vanilla want to go aggressive here. A lot of CC, Enchanted Crystal Arrow cleansed by Judgy Rocks. But this is still a lot of pressure that will translate into the first dragon of this game. So yeah, right now the story of this game is VVV working together, whereas Believix really only maintaining this gold situation, relatively even state, because of Yuna's CS lead in the top lane. Yeah, Yuna has a lot of mid lane experience, obviously. Not quite the position he is used to playing in ranked games, but still. A lot of what you see in mid is also transferable to top. Laning is just a general skill that you utilize in League of Legends, and right now, Yuna is definitely doing a lot of things right in this game. But can Believix really just cruise into mid-game off of top lane lead alone? Is what I'm wondering. I guess Jejirox is also doing very well in the bot lane. They actually got a lot of free time to get that extra CS. So no kills have happened on this side of the map, but that could change very soon as the depth charge and the enchanted crystal arrow comes in, and that is a lot of damage. Jejirox trying to trade back, but that is not going to be enough damage. Back onto Killa Vanilla. They will take that kill. That is 4-1 now on the scoreboard. Jaina Proudmoore chased by the Kog'Maw. He knows he has knows the jungler has got his back. Ares will continue to go in towards Jaina Proudmoore. They might just get this kill. Kog'Maw does not have the W, but he finishes off that kill with Living Artillery. And that's second kill for Time Gear. But now Yuna Dabula, he's finally going to get his prey in the top lane. It's actually a shutdown. Bonus gold going the way of Yuna. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that's even possible, but Darius gets the shutdown. That's very good news for Believix. Yeah, a lot of things going differently to what I expected originally. The Yakshan is not ahead. The Kai'Sa and the Yuumi doing just fine in the bot lane outside of that all-in that just happened. They're still up in CS. Oh, Ares coming in with the Ghost. But he's all alone here. He doesn't have the Onslaught of Shadows here, but look at the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Very nicely placed. Stand United as well. That's a lot of resources expended just to kill the one person on Believix. They just had to get this kill, and they finally get it. But what does that mean for the rest of the map? Ares actually gets away. Once again, a pretty good job by Veni, Vidi, Vici working together to get those kills. And this is what I was talking about going into the game, coming from draft. The gank setup on the side of Veni, Vidi, Vici is just a very dependable bot lane. It's very easy to get things going. They might not have the most damage, but they already have more damage in their team composition. Duke of Jamming going for a solo play with just the Yuumi supporting him, and that is going to just end up being a 2v1, 2-for-1 trade in favor of VVB. So every single play, almost every single proactive play from Believix has been successfully countered. Then the proactive plays from VVB are also working out. Jaina Proudmoore still looking for that top lane gank, but he just hasn't found it this game. These roams have been largely unsuccessful, and it also means Time Gear is having a good time in the mid lane, which is not the news you want to hear. He's playing Kog'Maw after all. This champion can scale to very concerning power levels, especially when he just goes for this Guinsoo Hurricane Riftmaker build, which I imagine is going to be the play. But Yuna now definitely overstepping his boundaries, gets taunted, gets killed off by the tower. It was really just that simple for Vishen to get that kill. And that's definitely a slip up from Yuna, but now Jejirox, where are we going? Why are we clearing vision? And that spot on the map is just 2 very easy kills for VVV. But now Time Gear getting a little bit overconfident here, perhaps. He does have the support of his team now, but look at this damage! He flashes in! Stand United's going to save him as well. He's actually fine after tanking 2 tower shots. VVV just continues to get leads all over the map. Right now, it's not really that big of a gold lead, but it is slowly getting bigger and bigger. And I feel like a lot of it just comes down to how easy it is for them to execute things like, you know, Stand United. Just press it at the right time when one of your members is trying to go aggressive. Ashe and Nautilus, a lot of CC. Hecarim, fairly easy engage that can't be followed up on. Ease of execution is definitely on their side, and this is translating to a good state going into the mid game. 2 dragons up already. And the only thing that Believix have going for them is this insane CS lead, but when you think about what's going to happen later, I feel like Darius is probably just going to have a pretty hard time into the Kog'Maw, and the Ashe is going to get kited. Regardless, Believix are starting off as Rift Herald, and they're going to get it. But VVV are still looking for that fight. Will the Enchanted Crystal Arrow come out? It actually targets Yuna, but first they're actually going to get Duke of Jamming. Believix trying to get away, but again slowed and rooted and auto attacked to death. Yuna has to expend his flash just to preserve his life, and VVV are not stopping here. Jaina Proudmoore has some wave clear, but this is still going to be an unanswered push from VVV. With 2 minutes still until this dragon spawns. Jaina Proudmoore has yet to hit his first mythic power spike inside of his game. Really hasn't been a good game for Believix's mid laner. When we look at the items, Kog'Maw is stock standard with Guinsoo Hurricane. But then we have Hecarim going for the Triforce, so he's going for that extended damage and extended fights compared to the upfront damage from the Eclipse. Also, I'm going to run into the Diana with Duke of Jamming, but right now he's a little bit too tanky. And Duke of Jamming is definitely not focusing on damage right now. Look at Time Gear. It's a 1v3 situation in the bot lane. We have 2 fights at the same time. Duke of Jamming does not have enough damage. Meanwhile, Time Gear does have enough damage. It was a 1v3 in the bottom lane. Believix had 3 members. BBB only had 1. And Kog'Maw did not even get Shen ulted. I'm pretty sure while all that was happening. It's just insane DPS coming out right now from Time Gear. And he only has 2 items. It's all coming from his W. The items are just basically boosting his potential damage from a W. Every auto attack is percent health damage. The more auto attacks You dish out. That just translates to more damage, plain and simple. No need for any kind of crit stuff here. It's a longsword next, actually. So I only wonder what this is going to build into in terms of items. Yeah, something didn't feel right when it came to that 1v3. I assumed that Chenault was used on the Kog'Maw. Turns out it was actually used on him, so that's what enabled Time Gear to get that 1v3 off, actually walk away with a kill on top of that. Yeah, those problems already manifesting for Believix, and they're only going to get worse. As Kog'Maw continues to scale, this is not even his final form as a champion. Veni, Vidi, Vici onto the Baron. Believix will contest. Oh, now they burst it down and they get the Baron. Duke of Jamming running in to get the Smite Steal, but it's not going to happen. And that's all it's going to be. But what is Jujirox doing in the mid lane trying to clear minions? Now he's just going to get engaged on. And this is Ares on a rampage. He has way too much damage. Yonadabola left alone to fend off the entire VVV team. He might just get one kill, actually. Kaisa and Diana revived coming in from the base. I guess Akshan has finally become useful for once in this game. VVV still continuing their siege onto the mid lane turrets. Duke of Jamming coming in. The Moonfall does absolutely nothing. Time Gear just face tanks all of that and dishes out more than Believix can handle. And this is almost a clean ace by VVV. Just the difference in kills. They're winning pretty much every single fight in this game 1 of the series. Now Yuna, look at the slow and the constant auto attacks. Oh, okay. Time Gear dying to the tower. That was definitely not the move. But regardless, that was just a quick example of how useless this Darius becomes if he gets auto-attacked by the Ashe and also just hided by the Kog'Maw with superior attack speed. He really just becomes untouchable, and at this point, Believix, I don't think they have any answers to what is happening on the map right now. Yeah, Believix got their revenge on the Kog'Maw. He did die, but what does that really mean in the grand scheme of things? Not much. And I feel like all we can do right now is just talk about Game 2. And Game 2, it just has to be Believix changing up a lot of stuff in the draft. Because clearly Time Gear was not threatened at any point. Playing as Kog'Maw mid, nothing happened in the first 15 minutes of the game. Yakshan was not even winning that lane in the first place. Then you just end up with carries that can't really do much, but now the engage onto Time Gear. But look at the Stand United shield! He's still alive! He's still alive through all of that. The Ignite's still burning, but it doesn't matter. Stand United... That was like a second health bar. That is just going to be game. Veni, Vidi, Vici finishing off Game 1 of the series in 24 minutes. That's certainly not the result I was expecting going into this best of 3, but here we are. BVB keeping it simple, keeping it clean, just focusing on dependable, strong picks, starting from blue side. Believix chose red, and they didn't really get much out of it in the end. It's just a VVV win, and it's a very decisive one at that. And LeBlanc from Jaina Proudmore. That's so much frontline on the side of BVV, perhaps even a little bit too much. Udyr, Ornn, and Nautilus, that's just a lot of beefcakes. Here is, does Believix have enough damage to burn through all of that? Caitlyn definitely has to go for a more scaling option like Lethal Tempo plus Kraken Slayer, otherwise they will run into some trouble. I guess they have Gangplank that can reach the backline with his barrels and his cannon barrage. That can always create troubles, and also LeBlanc can look for flank opportunities. So I guess this is what Believix will look to.
Summoner's Rift.
Okay, once more we go into the game. Believix trying to catch VVV. I guess we're assuming that VVV will take a similar approach when it comes to an invade, but instead, VVV are actually grouping as well, trying to catch out Believix. So both teams changing their approach when it comes to level 1, and all that is going to do is just going to result in no action whatsoever. Ares once again starting on the top side of a on the bot side of the map, that is. Both junglers are going to meet top lane. You'll have to see what kind of variant Ares goes for this game. Will it be the focus on Phoenix, or maybe the focus on Bear with some more AD items? Jaina Proudmore already with that level 2 advantage. A lot of damage up front onto Time Gear. Already looking a lot better compared to what happened last game. Bot lane relatively stable for BVB. Ashe basically taking 0 damage so far. Time Gear trying to keep the wave on his side of the lane. Yeah, if you're Kill Vanilla and Vilestorm, you're just trying to wait it out. Here comes Ares. Gank onto Chasm. Yuna with no mana left has to use his flash. This will be a lot of help from Chasm here. Let's see if he can manage to keep the wave nice and clean for a freeze. They're not actually staying around though. Just because he has Duke of Jamming close by to try and do something here. Nautilus onto Techno Gremlin, the Ignite comes out. But it's still VVV losing out on that trade. This should eventually go in favor of Believix here. They continue to play their cards right like this. Perhaps not pushing the absolute limits of aggression, but still doing just fine. It's not like they are pressured by the in-game time clock. They are facing an Ornn who is going to bring advantages in terms of the improved items, but oh, nice hook from Judgy Rocks, but Spell Shield comes out, but that's still a lot of CC from Valstorm. The 3v3 situation in which Believix are actually the victors. But Trap misses onto Ares. I feel like that was a guaranteed kill, and Judgy Rocks just misses out on that. Could still get another, not quite, because Kill Vanilla flashes away. So what could have been 2 kills is only 1. Because of a mechanical error. But I guess Believix will still take that any day of the week. Playing towards bot lane, making that advantage grow is definitely a recipe for success here. Ornn is not that easy to move in the early stages of the game, so this was the alternative approach for Believix that presented itself with this draft, and this is a good start. Some more trading in the bot lane. Oh, will this be a solo kill from Chasm? Yes, it will! The Ornn versus GP matchup. You have to remember, Ornn packs a lot of damage in the early game, and a champion like Gangplank, he's had plenty of nerfs at this point. The nerfs are adding up. He's not as durable in the early game as he used to be. So if you're not careful, this can definitely happen. And VVV get advantages now in the lane that was least expected, perhaps. They'll certainly take that one. In other news, Believix takes the first dragon of the game. Oh, Jaina Proudmoore actually uses his Q on the minion. That bails out Time Gear in this trade. Was about to be a lot of damage coming in, but he survives that. So Ares is just going to come in, make sure the wave is pushed in so that Time Gear gets a recall. Already has the Lost Chapter completed. And what's going to be the mythic choice? Could just be Ludens by the looks of things. He's not really all that pressured to go for Leandri's Anguish this game. Another Dark Binding. It goes wide. Once again, it's Believix slowly but carefully making that advantage grow larger and larger in the bot lane without any kills happening. We saw the same thing in game 1 in the Kai'Sa versus Yumi, Kai'Sa Yumi matchup versus Ashe Nautilus. So it wasn't really a lane where they were favored in the early game, but they still managed to make things work. Kill a Vanilla. That was poor positioning versus the Kaylin Morgana lane, and now they pay the price. Valstorm is also going to die because of a Jaina Proudmoore roam, and this is a very welcome change from Believix. Focusing their attention in the right spots on the map, this Kaylin Morgana is quickly becoming a problem, and also Jaina Proudmoore benefiting from that as well. We saw the roams fail in game 1, didn't really get anything for his troubles. This time, he gets a kill. The volley actually hits, but Techno Gremlin still gets that recall. Quite fortunate timing. Yeah, it's almost all positives this time for Believix. So what we called out before the game, maybe it's worth it to try and change this approach entirely. This is exactly what happened. Instead of playing towards top, now we're playing towards the bot lane. And it's actually producing good results for Believix. It's already a much more positive early game. Time Gear forced to use his flash.
Perfect.
Just to escape that one. Orianna and Ashe, no gap closers to speak of. So later into the game, if Zac finds an angle, only a flash can really save them from getting CC'd and then bursted down. Another big trade from Jaina Proudmoore. Turns out fine. Still a big CS lead for Kaylin Morgana down to the bot lane. Duke of Jamming has that Rift Herald. And they're definitely looking to make things happen here.
Perfect.
Bot lane tower is breakable. Only 2 plates left. So if Duke of Jamming decides to stick around, this is definitely doable. This could enable the bot lane of Believix to just move around the map and take more towers. Caitlyn feels most comfortable when she's sieging, so this would definitely be the right call in my opinion. Duke of Jamming perhaps also looking for a gank on top of that, but BBB have very good vision coverage, so they're going to see him coming. Gear training back very nicely against Jaina Proudmoore. So like we said, the Rift Herald is just going to come out. Oh my goodness. Valstorm looking for an engage, but he's way out of position right now, and so is the kill of Vanilla. Judgy Rock's going for the flash. He's going to get that kill, but now he's between a rock and a hard place a little bit. Now Ares completely isolated. He's going to get killed next. Valstorm might just die as well. Ah, the slow from the Q is not enough. Duke of Jamming was looking for the stun, but he could not quite find it. Still, another correct play based on the state of the game from Believix, and it's already a 5,000 gold lead. BBB focusing so much of their attention on top lane in the ban phase, And they, like, it looks like they just completely missed this angle coming from Believix. They just said, let us pick an advantageous matchup in the bot lane, and we can create advantages there instead of playing towards top. Now it feels like we've officially entered the mid game. But the bot lane of Believix is actually not rotating towards upper lanes. Not just yet. Rocks will catch another wave that's coming in. And then afterwards they'll perhaps make the decision to do something else on the map. Kevin is starting to lose on these trades, and the first strike from Yuna Dabula, that's starting to hurt as well. Yuna looking for something inside of that turret, but no, the tower dive would be too risky to perform right here. Probably feeling just fine creating this CS lead slowly but surely. He's going to get extra tower damage, but look at what's happening. Ares is trying to ambush him. Time Gear on the other side. He's going to get caught by the shockwave. And that's Yuna Dabula trying to get tower damage. He wasn't really cognizant of what was going on the map. He gives away a pretty easy kill. This Orianna already with Luden's Tempest. If the game goes on long enough, the Orianna can actually carry this game, surely. So it's not like Believix have gotten a free ticket towards game 3. They still have to execute, they still have to tick all the boxes. They can't afford to have the same slip-ups. But now they attack the mid lane. Time Gear had flash, didn't use it. And he quickly sees his screen turn gray. As we finally see Believix move their bot lane towards mid. They're going to work on that tower. BBB right now, they don't have anyone attacking the turret, defending the turret. Instead of sieging, it will be Believix taking down the second Rift Herald on top of what we've already secured. The top lane turret is still standing, so is the mid lane turret. I can only imagine that the mid lane turret will be prioritized first. But if they want to take this down, they're going to need support from the rest of their team. I feel like if it's just a 2v2 situation, it will be hard for Believix to force, just because of Nautilus having that potential to CC people down. Then Orianna already packing a lot of damage. Oh, Valstorm going for the engage, but here comes Duke of Jamming. He's here to protect his bot lane from danger. The teleport from Kezem. He's going to hit all these people with his Call of the Forge God. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Ares ambushed by the two members of Believix. It's actually 2 kills now for Kezem. Was a good teleport. BVV actually fended off this push. Not a bad trade, all things considered. 30 seconds until the dragon, though. And it's still Believix with the advantage in terms of positioning on the map. Yuna's just going to take this tower for free. His lead is growing. Although the 2 kills that Ornn got just now will definitely be a big help for him. Slowly but surely, we're going towards that level 14 Now we're gonna have another standoff next to the dragon. But it's still Chasm without his ultimate. What will Believix do with this information? Right now they're just taking free damage from the dragon and they have to reposition. Try and find a different angle. But now it's VVV with a better positioning. Ashe kind of awkwardly standing on the other side. Might just get zoned out from this fight completely. But Dredgeline misses. Will Juke of Jamming go for this? Or will Believix just not go for the fight? It's actually Techno Gremlin getting focused, but it's Believix with the first kill in the fight. A lot of AoE damage coming in. They're actually winning this fight completely right now. It's almost going to be a clean ace for Believix. Yes, it will. 5-0. No, not quite. It's Ornn getting the only kill for the side of VVV, but it's just a very, very decisive fight for Believix. And this should be a very big swing for them. The Cannon Barrage looking for the base. I wonder what that was about. Guess maybe just trying to catch someone that was low, but... Anyway, this was Believix playing their cards correctly, kiting away, dealing a lot of damage as well. Judgy Rock's doing fine right now on this Caitlyn. Doing pretty much exactly what he was asked to do this game. Still, they have to try and push the advantage. Oh, nice root from Zac is just going to result in a kill. Time Gear had no flash, couldn't escape from that root. And it's a nice start for Believix, but now they have to be careful. Not a lot of damage that's left in the tank, though, right now for Believix. Look at Jaina Proudmoore on the flank. He's going to root the Ornn. And now Chasm gets away. No, he doesn't. No one gets away from this team. Once they get one pick, they just move towards another. And it's another ace for Believix. We had a stomp from VVV. Now we have a counter stomp from Believix. The Baron is just an afterthought. They take the blue buff as well on their way towards Baron. This is Believix completely controlling the game. And how exactly do you figure out what led to this? You could just say, haha, they banned Shen, therefore it's an easy win because they don't have Shen anymore, but let's be real. That wasn't the only thing that was troubling Believix in the first game. They definitely faced bigger problems. This is basically Believix completely recalibrating their priorities in draft, and it's worked so well right now. Turns out Unit doesn't really need attention. He can be on a scaling pick, and this creates a bit of a dilemma for VVV. Because wherever you go, top or bottom, you don't really have players that have that 1v9 potential. All you already have is mid. Now Jaina Proudmoore, he's going to target that mid laner. Orianna is not too long for this world. Another kill. Luden's Tempest and Shadow Flame. The backline is going to melt. whenever they are out of position. There's just too much damage on the side of Believix. Even the tanks have to concede space from the barrels at this point. Debola. His next item will probably be Infinity Edge, and once he completes that, then I don't think there's anyone that can withstand that burst. Even someone like Udyr will get massively chunked by the barrel that's coming in. This time it's Believix with the clear positioning on the dragon. This is for Soul Point. Very pressure heavy situation right now for VVV. It's time to put up or shut up. They have to reach the important targets in this fight. Can Ares even reach in for the steal? He won't get it. It's Infernal Soul for Believix, and this surely is the end of the game, as the difference in damage is just staggering. 3 kills already. Here comes the 4th. Time Gear is running away, but it's not going to be enough. He's already routed. Nowhere to go. Another 5-for-0 exchange in this game. Believix have left no doubt as to who was the better team in this game. It's 1-1 in the series right now, surely. They won't end the game on this push, but the game is as good as done at this point. The first inhibitor will fall. And once that happens, now Believix have a clear window to end this game on the next team fight. So now that Believix successfully recalibrated in game 2, it's most likely BBB has to recalibrate in the game that is to come. Although, scratch that, Judgy Rocks was catching one too many waves in the bot lane, burns 2 summoner spells in the process. Is he going to die here? The Call of the Forge God comes out just to secure that kill. I think that's fine. But Foulstorm now is not where you want to be as a support. I guess he just wanted to come out of that tower dive the hard way. But now, Debola just Prowler's Claws in for that kill, but my word, that was not the play to make. And now VVV, how much can they get from this? Enchanted Crystal Arrow will try to hit Time Gear. It's not going to do so. It's now a 2 versus 2, but Jaina Proudmoore is way too fed. The Orianna disappears from the map. Is Chasm able to get one more kill in this fight? He's trying to do so, but the Jaina Proudmoore flash denies him. And it's a bit of an even trade, but still not nearly enough for VVV to come back into this one. 16,000 gold still the difference between the teams. It was only a very small setback for Believix. They will continue their march onto the enemy base. Baron Nashor about to spawn. That should be the death knell for VVV. To sound off the final game of this series. Jaina Proud with a Void Staff as well to couple with his Shadow Flame and Luminous Echo. So much penetration between all these items. Judgy Rocks, Infinity Edge completed. Same goes for Yuna. The items are all there. All they have to do is walk it into the enemy base. Techno Gremlin is way too far forward. He tries to counter-engage, but he quickly gets bursted down. That's 1 kill for VVV. The longer they can delay this Baron buff, the better. Ares just continues to go in, but I don't know if that's it, my friend. Yuna Dabola has just too much damage. And you're just not winning this fight 4v4. It's not going to happen. Prowler's Claw in from Yuna. Time Gear falls as well. And it's just Ashe and Ornn left on the battle lines. Triple kill from Yuna. The 4-item gangplank is terrifying. The Ashe also falls on the backside of this fight. And the Nexus will finally fall. Because Believix have been the better team for the entirety of this game, really. Starting from the first kill, going forward, it's Believix who stamp their mark on this series. They come back with resounding fashion, and we're going to have a game 3 in this best of 3. Very nicely done. From Yuna, I just quickly glanced at what's happening in mid, and I'm actually so excited to see this one. This is going to be fun as hell to cast, that's for sure. I'm here throwing down the gauntlet with a signature Draven. Draven versus Aurelia. I can't really think of... This is one of the bloodiest lanes I think we'll see in UNL. This is going to get crazy. For sure. But then, you have to consider the junglers. I feel like BBB has that advantage of the Sejuani being able to assist Draven early into the game, whereas Lilia would rather just outpace the Sejuani without really interacting, at least until level 6. The MF Seraph is another interesting pivot from BBB. This is definitely a lane that can do a lot more versus the Morgana. The Black Shield is not going to be as effective. And then the Malphite versus 3 AD champions and 2 champions that mainly do damage with, well, perhaps Aurelia not as much, but still. Aurelia's damage, at least some of it is auto attacks. It's definitely an auto attack heavy champion when it comes to these extended fights, and Malphite can negate some of that and also provides a very stock standard engage. It's pretty difficult to avoid. So by the looks of things, BBB will just look to end the fights quickly with the initiation that they have, followed by just the big upfront damage from Draven and Misfortune. Maybe with Seraph landing some of that poke on top of that. Team comp that is sort of all over the place if you really look at it from BBB, but maybe this is the place to start. Just make sure that you have lanes that can do more in the early game. And then with that, Ares has more room to just do his own thing, although now he chose a jungler that's a bit more selfless compared to someone like an Udyr or a Hecarim even. So this is another potential change of playstyle. Although I wouldn't really, I would definitely put trust in Ares when it comes to finding the right windows to initiate fights. We'll see if he can do just that in game number 3 here. So we're about to load into the final game of this series. It has been a good one, although a little bit of a confusing one so far. Just 2 stomps, one after the other, as we go into the final game. Who's coming out on top this time? I would perhaps expect the cleanse from Misfortune, not so much from Caitlyn this game. Fair enough. You can still get hit by that Glacial Prison. I can already see Malphite starting with Tear of the Goddess. I don't know if that's the optimal start against someone like Darius. Although I haven't really looked into it in a while, so...
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Perhaps this is just Chasm completely trying to
30 seconds until minions
avoid any interaction, which is fair. He's running Tear, he also has Phase Rush in his runes. So even if he gets caught, he can still run away. Ares is going to meet Yuna Debola, and Jaina Proudmoore apprehend start from Yuna. He doesn't flash. It's just going to be first blood for the Aurelia in the mid lane. And that's going to have immediate impact because Jaina Proudmoore gets to recall, buys the longsword, buys another potion, and all of a sudden, Draven's job in the mid lane becomes that much harder when it comes to these 1v1s. I can definitely see some of these trades really becoming quite bloody. Maybe that extra 10 AD will just be the difference maker. Both mid laners running Ignite as well. This is going to be the place to look for. Most definitely. As for the other places on the map right now. Oh, Jaina Proudmoore not quite hitting level 2 yet, which allows Time Gear to hit him with 3 auto attacks. Basically for free. That's going to be the level 2 advantage for the Draven. Believix also hitting the level 2 before their opponents in the bot lane. Yeah, the Aurelia can't really take many more of these. I feel like you have to find your window fairly quickly before you just get brought down by the axes. Yeah, that's a problematic situation. You want to be able to CS under tower, but whenever you Blade Surge in, you're basically going to get hit with at least one auto attack here, so... just something to think about. Oh, that's a failed reset on the Q as well, so that's basically no opportunity whatsoever to try and go in. Time Gear so far understanding the matchup very well. Doing well in lane. Here comes Sejuani though. It's gonna be Believix trying to go in, trying to take this kill. Valstorm going really low. He's going to fall down first. Killer Vanilla is going to get a kill in reply. Not quite, actually. Oh, it's going to be Judgy Rocks falling instead. Yona Dabola roaming from top lane. Can they even get this kill? Oh, it took so much just to get the one kill on the Draven, but they make it happen. So Believix. Yona Dabola, understanding that Malphite does not really want to play the same kind of League of Legends he wants to play, he just decided to go down mid lane and try to affect this matchup, which was quickly turning sour for Believix. Now Ares trying to catch these minions for Time Gear, manages to do so, but eats 50% of his health in the process. But for a jungler like Sejuani, shouldn't be that much of a problem. Oh, Jaina Proud were really putting some pressure down here. Making Ares a little bit uncomfortable, but you don't have the help of your jungler while trying to invade. And this is a problematic situation. No more flash. Tries to run away through the jungle, but is just going to get that kill away. Kill number 2 for Time Gear. And yeah, I think that was quite ill-advised from Jaina Proudmoore. This is not the invade you take when your jungler is basically just looking to recall pretty much immediately. He has 32 CS. Now it's going to be Time Gear with a serrated Dirk versus Aurelia's Vamp Scepter. It should still be advantage Draven, especially with the experience lead. This is the main matchup that the game revolves around right now. Time Gear got another recall, heading back to mid lane. He bought a Sheen plus boots, but now Techno Gremlin mispositioning heavily inside of his lane, and this time BBV have tools to punish him. Xerath's stun was not black shielded in time, and that's just another fairly easy pickup for BBV. The stun looking for something once again. Not quite hitting it this time. And you can see that this does make a difference for BBV, having those lanes that can actually contend versus the lanes of Believix. Volley is doing fine, mid is doing more than fine, but now Techno Gremlin once again doesn't black shield in time. That's just another kill. You have to have your finger ready on the trigger. Xerath E can stun you for a pretty long time if it's thrown at a distance, and black shield can easily just eat that up, but you have to time it. You have to use it, first of all. Now the big engage from BBV, both ultimates used to secure that. And it's Time Gear again with a cash-in. He's already 1,000 gold ahead of his opponent. And Ares making his presence known once again. As the more proactive jungler, he has been the better jungler in the first game. In the second game, more so a victim of circumstance, in my opinion. But now that he once again has a favorable position in his lanes, he's making the right moves. And it feels like Jaina Proudmoore already resigned to his fate when it comes to this lane. Plated steel caps. Not a lot of defensive stats. Offensive stats going on. Time Gear is going to finish Eclipse on his next base, most likely. And that just spells trouble for Believix going into this next dragon. Now Chasm could be in trouble. He probably should just be backing off. Uses the flash anyway. Just as a safety measure. Perhaps should have been more careful than that, but still. Believix don't get the kill that they were hoping for. Perhaps now they can do something mid. Lilting Lullaby ready for Duke of Jamming, but here comes Ares. He's on the other side of the river, waiting patiently for Believix to make their move if they decide to go for it. Yuna was also there to try and help. But yeah, Time Gear makes the right call and doesn't go for it. Plates are definitely worth less than the potential kill on you. Onto someone like Aurelia, and you also lose your bounty. Uh-oh, Black Shield gone. What does this mean for the bot lane of Believix? Glacial Prison ready. Could have been Ares pulling the trigger, but now Vilestorm just gets brought down. Believix secures him a quick trip to the fountain. The supports have to be a bit more careful when it comes to their positioning this game. A lot of unforced errors right now. Both teams perhaps feeling the pressure or just not that comfortable with the picks they chose for themselves. Jaina Proudmoore has to be able to secure this lane, try to get a base timer, but instead is just Time Gear. Cutting his time short on Summoner's Rift. And he gets another kill before he falls down, so that's another bounty for him. Instead of the Eclipse, he's just going to get the Essence Reaver first. He's so far ahead in terms of items. This Ares right now actually winning the 1v1 as we speak. He doesn't have the... Duke of Jamming does not have the ultimate. Gets away just barely. Just a sliver of health on Duke of Jamming. Oh, once again, Techno Gremlin. Really not timing the spell shield correctly, and it almost resulted in a kill. Yikes. Yeah, Believix. The gold lead actually staying even. We're seeing somewhat of a repeat of the situation in Game 1, where the lanes, both top and bottom, are bringing the gold lead, making it look somewhat stable, but the real issue, once again, is mid, where Time Gear is just straight up winning the matchup and continuing to get the gold that he needs. He might have died twice, but he got the cash in every single time. It's not like he was delayed at any point. And it's once again this pairing of the laner that would like to have his jungler close by versus a jungler that just kind of wants to do their own thing and try to outfarm the opposition. Yeah, that seems to be the pairing that does not really work all that well for Believix, and VVV actually well enough. They targeted a jungler. They put 2 bans down on Duke of Jamming. They targeted the Zac and the Rammus. The next pick in line was the Lilia or the Diana. Those are two junglers that just don't have that same kind of presence with the ganks. So this makes BBB's job that much easier this game. Phasver's doing some work for Malphite right now, but the poke from MF and Xerath right now is starting to make itself known. Just a small freeze after the pause. We should be up and running soon. Yep. That's another Arcano Pulse. Hitting Judgy Rocks. Believix bot lane in trouble. Time Gear gets targeted. He's going to get slapped. Can they kill him in time? Yes, they can. Finally, Duke of Jamming comes in to try and turn things around. This is a good start for sure. But my issue is here, the Aurelia will still struggle quite a bit until she gets the items that she needs. It's not really a champion that functions well from behind. Meanwhile, Ares was looking for a chance in the bot lane. But this was already Judgy Rocks at full health, so not really much to do there. You can see the level lead top lane as well. It's just up on by 70 CS. Finally, feels like the kill has to happen, but the tower dissuaded Fiona Lula from coming back in. Killer Vanilla gets his third kill on a killing spree right now. Techno Gremlin feeling the hurt from MF and Xerath. This is definitely a much better look for VVV's bot lane. Much better matchup as well. Caitlyn ult onto mid. They're trying to catch Time Gear out of position. Jaina Proudmoore does not have flash yet. Oh, but here comes Yuna on the flank. That's definitely too much damage to deal with. And this is Believix coming back into this game. 2 quick kills. Placed on the right champions. Building a lead for themselves, but Sleep lands just onto Ares. Here comes Chasm trying to kill Yuna, but his damage just can't be found. The stun from Vilestorm. Here comes Jaina Proudmoore. Believing still wants this fight because this is numbers advantage, and they're going to get the first kill. Ares is going to fall next. And the skirmishing from Believix is on point. It's funny how 5 minutes ago it looked like the game was falling out of their control, and now we're back to a point where Believix can feel pretty good about themselves. Time Gear finally considerably punished for his sins in the mid lane. This is what we like to see. We like to see Yuna transferring his lane leads onto other lanes and just doing a lot more that way. But, oh, he was really close to landing that apprehend. That could have been Chasm in a lot of trouble. But perhaps we'll save that for next time.
No one saw that. No one saw that.
Now this setup for the dragon is going to be crucial. Time Gear actually gets Flipped by the ball from Lilia. Now Yuna is going to take a lot of damage. Can he get away from this? Oh, the bullet time is interrupted very early, which means BVV, they're actually still fighting very well inside of his fight, but Time Gear goes way too far forward to try and get just one kill inside of the fight. Has him now, trying to kill the jungler desperately, but it won't work. It's a 1 for 2. Believix win another fight. And it's just Vilestorm poking from afar. He doesn't have his ultimate yet. How much can he get done? Caitlyn, dangerously low. It's just Jaina Proudmoore now trying to sound him away from the objective. Looks like it's going to work. He won't find the steal. Yeah, it feels like BBB are just not... Teamfights are just not as coordinated as they once were. They have the basic wombo combo that they can utilize, but so far it just hasn't worked. Jaina Proudmoore has Vanguard's edge. He's going to look for the outplay. Misses his stun though. That's a pretty big deal. They don't have... Jaina Proudmoore does not have enough damage to make up for that. And it's just going to be a revenge kill for Time Gear.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
But Believix are making moves on the map while all of that was happening. Take down mid lane turret, take down the second red turret before it falls to the void. They got the timing down just before the Baron spawn. There's still that bot lane outer turret that remains on the map for Veni, Vidi, Vici. Still standing gold on the map, but could be picked up. But I guess the other side could also pick it up. Here comes Ares with the Glacial Prison. Was not flashed away from because the flash was not there to begin with. And Time Gear goes back to 7 and 5. A lot of deaths, but also a lot of kills. Look at what's happening in the mid lane though. They tried to get that one kill. They focus so much on bringing down the Aurelia that they're just losing out on the map everywhere else. The Glacial Prison initiation tool was not there. Chasm did not pull the trigger either. So overall, they just lose gold on this exchange. You don't really get much.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
BVB still continuing to try and play around with Draven as much as they can. This is definitely the one thing that's keeping them afloat in this game. MF still working towards the Collector. Yuna is trying to bring this tower down at all costs, but now he knows that he has to run away. But now he has the help of his team. And it's kill number 1. Time Gear has slept. That's big news for Believix, but they overextend very hard for this one kill. And it's now 2 kills for 1 for VVV. Judgy Rocks in a very compromised position. Jaina Proudmoore on the other side of the map, unable to help. 3 kills for VVV. Believix feeling themselves too much. They are lucky this doesn't end up in the Baron take. Not quite the play that they were hoping for. Oh, time gear! Flashing in has to... Judgerox has to flash himself, but now Jaina Proudmoore going in. He misses the flash, but it doesn't matter. Has enough damage to bring down the Draven. And it's a big shutdown that lands onto the Aurelia. And that is also a very unfortunate death timer for the Draven as the next dragon is approaching. Looks like VVV will just have to give this one up. I don't think they should be taking the fight with that main damage dealer present. We might just get flanked by Vidarius. Oh, sorry, the Aurelia actually. Look at what's happening on the other side. VVV approaching the dragon without Draven. This should not be happening. They just give away kills in a really disrespectful manner. Malphite now down, Seraph down as well. Believix in a prime position to contend for Baron now that Dragon is down. Both teams, it feels like, playing on impulse, but right now it's Believix getting more out of the situation. But now the Whirling Death actually did a lot of hurt to Believix. Jaina Proudmoore going in. Can they do much about this one? Holy, time here just absolutely melts. They made that work. Believix win the fight. And it wasn't that close. Time Gear once again punished for flashing in that mid lane. He is the most fed member. He doesn't have that flash, he's toast. And the Believix are capitalizing. Definitely wasn't the cleanest laning phase, but right now they are making the correct decisions for the most part. Done with this Baron push. All 5 members of Believix charging down mid lane. The side lane slowly approaching Veni, Vidi, Vici turrets. Glacial Prison onto Techno Gremlin. The Malphite R only lands on top of Techno Gremlin. This has to be the sign for Believix to re-engage, and they will do just that. Time Gear attacking really close to the front line of Believix, and he falls down too. That was not the initiation they were hoping for. Bazanias from Vilestorm to try and escape the damage, but that just means you die 3 seconds later. And Jaina Proudmoore, will he have his revenge? Not quite. Judgerox also diving forward to get kills. Wow. Both teams are really just so aggressive. That perhaps almost led to the downfall of Believix once again, but with that gold lead, they managed to make things work at the end. Judgerox once again very stable this series. 6-1 and 8 on the Kaelin. Was also very low deaths in the second game from the same champion. Doing very well for himself. Oh, Yuna cashes out the Seraph. Really low on health. Ares trying to play bouncer here. Now Yuna's going to get auto-attacked to death, maybe by the misfortune. He falls down first. The binding lands, but it's on top of Techno Gremlin. Now he flashes away. He feels the dangers too much. And now it's another dragon setup. This time is VVV with a clear advantage, with her top laner dead and their support having to go back to base. But still, this is not enough for VVV to fight for this one. They still don't feel confident enough about the whole situation. I guess they're just taking their recall timers. Just making sure that they come into this dragon as strong as humanly possible. Killer Vanilla hitting his third item power spike. Doesn't have the Infinity Edge quite yet. I wonder if it would be better to just have Bloodthirster and Infinity Edge. Ares going really hard onto Judgy Rocks, forces out the cleanse. Maybe that wasn't the play. Believix now in the front line, forces out the flash from Time Gear, but it is a good flash, and Darius is completely denied. That is bad news for Believix as they continue to lose members. Judgy Rocks gets one. How much more can he get? A Time Gear, he was not auto-attacked by the Caitlyn. I feel like more could have been done in that situation. Now he uses the net forward. What is happening? Judgy Rocks just completely throw this one away. Potentially, Jaina Proudmoore. Now, can he kill the Draven? The stun. It doesn't quite land when they get the dragon. Believix. Jaina Proudmoore saving this game.
Double kill.
Along with Duke of Jamming, they steal the dragon. It was almost a disaster, but they make it work somehow. This is definitely this is a game 3 that's worthy of a game 3. I'm gonna say it right here. It's really been a doozy from start to finish. Really feels like both teams have something to prove. It feels like they both really want to win, and it leads to some less than optimal decisions. It would definitely be... I mean, I feel like both teams could use, like, a breather to try and recollect themselves, because... sheesh. The haphazard decisions are definitely hurting both teams right now. What could have been a shutout fight for Believix actually turned out to almost be a win for BBB at the end of the day, so they really have to play it calm to try and close this out. BBB are still in this, despite everything that happened. The Draven is still so strong. 4 levels now. Techno Gremlin. No, it's going to be Yona that's focused down instead, but Time Gear, he just absolutely melts from the Caitlyn damage. Judgy Rocks completely redeems itself right after potentially inting away the game. Now he is the hero of the series. Potentially double kill, triple kill for Yuna. This is definitely over. The inhibitor is going to fall, and after that we're going to see the fall of the Nexus. Believix, they finally closed this one out, but it wasn't pretty. It wasn't a pretty game. If there's one thing to say about this game is that it was spotted with individual mistakes, but it didn't stop Believix from taking the series overall 2-1. They moved to the winner's bracket semi-final